Hi everyone, this is Benedek here. Very welcome to my channel. Now in today's episode I am going to show you what Amazon EC2 instances are and how you can utilize them if you are interested in cloud computing or you just need a server basically. We will create multiple types of EC2 or Elastic Compute Cloud instances for static web hosting. We will create one with a Linux operating system and also one with Windows. We will try to log in into those instances through SSH and through RDP. We will host a simple website on those instances so that you can see how you can utilize these EC2 instances. Of course, for now, because it will be a simple presentation of EC2s, we are not going to details on elastic load balancing and on auto scaling groups, but we will have other videos about those topics where I will show you how to configure properly elastic load balancing and auto scaling with EC2 instances. Okay, now let's just check a quick demo. It will be quick, I promise. And I'm in a little bit of a presentation, and after that presentation you will see me actually creating some EC2s as I've promised. Okay, let's get into it now. Let's see that presentation about Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, so what are these Elastic Compute Cloud instances or EC2 instances? Well, Amazon EC2 makes it easy for anyone to obtain virtual server computers, or also known as compute instances, in the cloud quickly and inexpensively. You can choose the instance type what you want, the template, and also you can choose which operating system you want your instance to be running on. It can be a Windows or a Linux, but also you can choose macOS as well. You can obtain these servers with even a few clicks from the AWS Management Console, or you can even automate the process via an API using SDK in your choice of programming language. Within minutes, your instances will be running and you will have full administrative access and control just like any other server computers. And with Amazon EC2, you only pay you only pay for what you really use. So it offers you an on-demand pricing. But also there are reserved instances, meaning that you can pay a baseline for a fee for using them. But the main point with this pay-as-you-go pricing is that you don't need. So if you don't need your instances anymore, you can just simply turn them off, and you stop paying for them. Let's see what type of instances are out there. There are five main instance categories of Elastic Compute Cloud or EC2. Here you can see them in this diagram. Actually, general purpose instances are burstable and good for changing workloads and also good for consistent workloads. They are probably the most popular among all because for many scenarios they are obviously the best choice. T in the name of many general purpose instance family comes from the tiny or turbo words. M stands for main or medium, or at least that's what I found on the internet when I did this research for this video. Compute optimized instances or these instance family members offer us with a high ratio of compute to memory, and in the name of them the C stands for compute, obviously. Memory optimized instance families can be good for in-memory databases or for full in-memory applications. R in their names stands for RAM and X stands for extreme. Storage optimized instances can be mainly divided into three categories. The H1 family, which is for HDD backed, and they offer us a balance of compute and memory. Then the i3 and the i3EN families are SSD backed, and they are also giving us a good balance of compute and memory. and in the I in their names is referring to high IOPS rate. IOPS meaning input-output operations per second. Okay, and there is also the D2 family. D2 family is for the highest disk ratio Mongol. D here stands for dense. And there is accelerated computing family, which gives us the highest graphics processing opportunities. So they are very good for any scenario where high GPU performance might be a requirement. And if you are interested in this and these family members of EC2, you can find this documentation on the internet and just browse it through. But that's it for the quick demo. And now let's just create some EC2 instances on the cloud. Alright guys, here I am at aws.amazon.com and I will just log into the Amazon management console. If you don't have an account, here you can create one, but as I have an account, I will just simply sign in. Alright, I recommend you to use an IAM user, but if you don't have one, just stick to the root user. Well, now I won't show you as I'm logging in, but after I've logged in, I will share again. Alright, I've signed into Amazon Management Console. Here I can search for the EC2 service, which is Elastic Compute Cloud. As you can see, it has a description, virtual servers in the cloud. So it is basically a solution to provision virtual server machines. Alright, here we are at EC2 dashboard. We can go to the instances, and here, as you can see, we don't have any instances yet. Okay, let's create a new instance by selecting launch instances. Alright, now we have to give it a name. Let's say let's start with an Amazon Linux instance. So I will call it Demo Linux instance, like that. Here, as you can see, we can choose from application and OS images or AMIs, which stands for Amazon Machine Images. These are the operating systems we can choose. For now, I will stick to Amazon Linux. Here also we can choose the version of that Linux distribution, but we will stick to the original one. And here we can select an instance type. Here, as you can see, it is a T2 micro. T refers to the general instance family, as I've showed you, and micro is about the size. As you can see, we can have even a nano instance, and it would bring us half, so 0.0 gigs of RAM. T2 micro gives us 1 V CPU and 1 GB of RAM, and here larger instances obviously bring better performing hardwares in them. Alright, here it is an important step to select or create a new keeper. Keeper is essential to log into these server instances. So I will create a new key for this demonstration. Let's call it Demo Linux Server Keeper or whatever. And I will use ppk file because we will use Putty. Putty is a software in which we can connect to a remote Linux server through the SSH protocol. Okay, let's create this keeper. Now it is downloaded. Note, guys, that here once you create this keeper, you will have no other opportunity to download this later. So you have to, take it into a safe place and keep it, or maybe you will lose access to those to your servers, basically. Okay, I let AWS to create a new security group for me. It is just a kind of a firewall on the AWS side, so you can manage which ports you want to open or which ports can remain closed. By default, all the ports will be closed except the SSH, which is allowed here. So we allow SSH, which is port 22, meaning that SSH is secure shell. It's a way to remotely access to get remote access to a Linux server machine. Alright, here we can configure how much space we want to allocate on the volume attached to this server instance. By default it comes with 8 gigabytes of root volume, but it can be upgraded to 30 and still we would be in the free tier, but it can be anything. But if I would put in 800 for example, then I would pay a lot. Alright, so let's stick to the default 8. Alright, and here are some advanced options which I don't want to go into details for now. I will click launch instance, and it is creating and starting up new virtual server machine on the AWS cloud. As you can see, it is already created, but the instance state is currently pending. We have to wait until it becomes running and until the status checks will be passed, and after that we can try to connect to this server instance. Alright guys, it seems this instance is already up and running and status checks are all passed, so we can try to connect to this instance. Alright, how can I connect to this instance? We will use free-to-use software called Putty, so you can download this at putty.org. Here you just simply click download and install this little tool on your Windows machine. Basically, and there are other software for macOS as well. And the thing is that after you install it, you can open it up and you can just simply try to connect to this server instance via copying the public IPv4 address by simply pressing that button, and here you paste it in. But also you have to paste in or write in the username. By default it will be EC2 user, and you have to put an @ sign, and here goes the IP address. If you didn't pick Amazon Linux as a machine image, but you picked an Ubuntu for example, then Ubuntu will be your default username. The connection type will be SSH, and now you have to specify the key file which we downloaded. So here you have to open this connection tab up, then open the SSH, and then open the out tab, and here you have to go to credentials, and and under the private key file for authentication you're gonna browse, and you will see the demo Linux server keeper, which I've just downloaded. Alright, so I open it, and after that I can hit open, hit connect once, and that's it. We are in the Amazon Linux, as you can see. And if I give like pvd, this is our current user folder and things like that. So it is a full-fledged Linux terminal. Alright, how can I host a simple website on this? It's simple, so there are some comments. Now I am going to just do a simple demonstration. I went to the sudo, so the root user. I am installing the system updates for this. It can take for a while. Alright, it's done. Now I will install a simple web server called Apache HTTP. So I will use the yum install httpd command to install Apache HTTP, which is a web server to, simply serve up static web pages. And now I can create a simple, or actually I can test it with the simple test page it gives us. So I can copy the public IPv address and I can try to open it. Yeah, but it won't work because it has a firewall, as you remember. As I've told you that AWS offers us a security group, so it attaches a security group, and here at security tab you can see that the inbound rules, so any inbound connection allowed to this computer is only this one. So on the 22 port, so only SSH is allowed. So we have to alter this. So click this security group thing here, and here go to the inbound rule sections, and here under the inbound rules we have to either edit the inbound rules and I will allow HTTP and HTTPS connections for all IP addresses. So I will type in HTTP, it is the port 80, and I select this CIDR block. This CIDR block refers to all IPv4 addresses. Also, I will open up any connections for all IPv6 address as well. Then I will allow all HTTPS connections for all IPv4, and I will allow all HTTPS connections for all IPv6 IP addresses. And I save these new rules here. And if now here at EC2 console I refresh and select the instance, and I can verify at security tab that there are more inbound rules, and this is the port 84 for the HTTP, and for free port for the HTTPS. So if I will try again to access the test page of that web server, probably this will work. No. Yes, I know why. I should, start the HTTP server also, but this opening the port is also required. So you can miss that, but you have to start the server by saying service httpd start. Alright, now httpd is started. And here we go. As you can see, after we refresh it, after the ports are open and after the web server is up and running, here we can see the test page of Apache. And also we can, alter this and put in our own website. For example, I will do a little demonstration. I will modify the basic default web page which is served up currently. So I am going to the var www or www HTML folder. Here I am creating a new file. I am creating an index HTML, and I am opening it in the Nano editor, which is a very, very basic code editor actually. And I am writing up a very, very basic HTML file, basically. Yeah, it won't be very nice, but actually it will show something to us actually. Hello EC2, let's say that. And here at the body I will drop in simply an h1, which is a main heading. So here we will have an h1, just like that, and it will say please subscribe if you haven't. Okay, I will press Ctrl X and I press Y, and I press enter. All right. Now let's check it together. Yeah, and as you can see, it is working. Hey, my friend, please subscribe if you haven't already. We have just altered the basic, site for this, and we have an EC2 based cloud server hosting a little HTML site for us. Okay, now let's create also a Windows Server instance here. So under instances, let's just create a new instance real quick. Let's call it Demo Windows Server. All right, and now I am going to pick the Windows Server, and I will leave the AMI as is. It will be also a T2 micro, and let's create a new key pair for this. Windows key pair, for example. All right, and here I will use the PEM certificate for OpenSSH. All right, it will have a new security group, and I allow all RDP connection. RDP means remote desktop connection. This is how you can enter a Windows server remotely. I am leaving it as is with 30 gigabytes of SSD volume, and I'm just simply launching this new instance with a Windows server running on it. Alright, under instances you can see that it is appeared, so it has appeared right there. The instance state is currently pending, but it will go up and running within some minutes. I will come back after it is already running. Alrighty guys, as it seems to me, the Windows instance is already up and running, and the status checks are all passed. So let's try to connect to it. Okay, we have to first select it, go to the connect button, and here we have to choose the RDP client, meaning that remote desktop client. Here I have to download the RDP file. Okay, I downloaded it, but I have to gain the password from AWS. Now here I have to use the PEM certificate. By the way, if you have by accident downloaded a PPK certificate, just don't worry. You can download something called Putty. I will just show it to you real quick. So if you by accident downloaded not the PEM certificate but a PPK certificate, you cannot use it here, but you can import it, load this private key, and after you loaded it, just go to the conversions and export an OpenSSH key, and that will work exactly fine. Alright, but it is better obviously to pay attention, and if you are creating a Windows server, always download the PEM certificate, and if you are creating a Linux one, make sure to download the PPK certificate. It will be easier for you. Alright, so to obtain the password, click that get password button. And here you have to upload the private key file, which I was talking about. So here I am selecting this Windows key pair, which I've just downloaded. I select it, I open it, and I choose the decrypt password button, and here we go. I've obtained the password. Now I won't blur it from you because I will delete this instance after this demo, or even in this video I will show you how to stop and delete these instances, so I don't worry about it too much. Alright, but I will terminate my connection to the Linux instance. Alright, so I've copied out this by clicking that button, and now I will try to connect to this instance by opening up the RDP file. I hit connect, then I give the password which I've just copied. I click OK, and whatever it is I accept it, and after that as you can see, it is starting to connect me as an administrator to this remote Windows server, which is an Elastic Cloud Compute Cloud instance on the AWS cloud. How cool is that? Right. It's a bit slow, but it is the first startup of this very brand new instance, so that's why probably it is a little bit slow. But here we go. As you can see, it is a full-fledged Windows server instance running on AWS data centers. Alright. And after it boots up correctly and everything is loaded, then I will try to show you how to create a simple dummy website also for static web hosting in this instance as well, very similar, which was created on the Linux instance. And here, as you can see, we can see some basic information about this instance. But now let's start typing here server manager. Server manager is basically a cool app where you can install roles and features to this server instance, and I will look for IIS, which is Internet Information Service, through which I can serve up static websites. And also it is good for hosting web APIs, let's say .NET Core APIs and things like that, but we won't go into those topics in this video, as that is a little bit harder topic, I would say. Alright, yeah, it is not allowing me to add rows until it finishes. Alright, so let's wait a bit. And after it is already loaded up, then we can add the new role and feature so that we can install the IIS for web hosting. Alright, it seems to me as it is loaded, so I will try. Yeah, okay. Just hit next, next and next. And here I am choosing the web server or the IIS, which is Internet Information Service. I will add the feature, and I won't bother with all of this stuff because I want to serve up a simple static HTML, and I just hit install. It might take a little bit of a time because, as I've mentioned, it is a small instance with only one virtual CPU and with only 1 GB of RAM, but I will wait it and I will come back when it is finished. Alright, it seems to me as feature installation already succeeded, so I can close this and I can close that as well. And now I can try to search for IIS, or no, actually it is already running if it's succeeded. So let's just try to open the blank page of or the test page of this web server as well. So just simply copy the public IPv4 address, or I could just copy the public IPv4 DNS as well. Let's just try to open it in a new tab. And yes, it won't work either because we need to make sure that HTTP connection is enabled. So go to the security group, and yeah, as you can see in the inbound rules, only TCP 3389 port is allowed, which is the RDP. So go to the launch wizard of that security group, go to the inbound rules, say inbound, edit inbound rules, and make sure to open up the HTTP. Yeah, alright. So I open up the HTTP connection to all IPv4 and all IPv6 addresses, and I'm doing so for the HTTPS port as well. Okay, here we go. as these ports are now opened, and yeah, I will verify it. I will verify it here. Yeah, as you can see, under the security tab of this Windows instance, both the 80 port, which is the HTTP port, and both the 443 port, which is the HTTPS port, are open. So as you can see, it is working. All right. So make sure to open those ports if you can't connect to your website. And now it is showing us this blank page, but we can alter this real quick. Open up any file explorer here, go to this PC, select the C volume, inetpub, alright. Here we go at www.root, and anything here which has the name index.html would override this dummy HTML document. Alright, so let's just go back to my local computer and open up a Visual Studio Code with a new page. Open a folder, it can be anything. I will create a new folder, test or whatever. I just created a new folder. I open it in Visual Studio Code, and I am creating a new index.html file. And if you have Emmet installed, then you can just do an exclamation mark, hit enter, and it will fill out this automatically. Win EC2 test, let's say, and here we go. Hello from the Windows EC2 cloud server. Okay, I've just saved it. I click, so I reveal it in File Explorer. Here we go. Here it is. I'm just copying it via Ctrl-C, and I go to this server, and here I press Ctrl-V, and it is already there, and I don't even have to delete these, I think, because index.html would come first. So let's just try it real quick. And yeah, as you can see, this is our HTML document, Win EC2 test, and hello from the Windows EC2 cloud server instance. All right, just one more important thing I've almost forgot to mention to you is that now we have to delete these instances as well. So in order to stop paying extra money, because of course all of these cloud resources have some costs implied. So now I am going to here and if you want to stop these instances and later you would like to use them again, then just click this stop instance button. But you want to also delete the instance, permanently delete, then click this terminate instance. No, I don't need these instances anymore, so I am going to terminate those instances. Now all these instances will be terminated, so I won't pay any further charges for these. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked it, and if so, please consider subscribing, sharing with friends, and commenting. Be safe out there. Bye.